Welcome to the Stars Aligned Dramas and Dreams podcast, where the infinite sky meets the starry world of dramas. We're your guides through the cosmos, from heart-stopping queer love stories to straight dramas of unexpected love.
And every unforgettable moment in between that make us swoon, laugh, and cry. And, of course, we'll sprinkle in a little stardust along the way.
I'm Nixie, your drama enthusiast, ready to break down the best and sometimes most chaotic storylines, filming techniques, and the worlds we can't stop obsessing over.
And I'm Cyrus, here to delve into characters, themes, and symbolism that invoke emotions that resonate with us in powerful and lasting ways.
Each week, we'll explore the stellar journey of love, identity, and connection, one drama and one dream at a time. Today, we orbit the series satellite, where we discuss everything a series has to offer. Our satellite this week is orbiting I'm Your Moon.
So, gather your stardust, find your spot under the stars, and let's dive in.
Let's begin by taking a look into the stars, where we take a closer look at the synopsis that captivate us and the stars on and off screen who make every moment shine. Join us this week as we stargaze into the captivating world of I'm Your Moon. But before we can stargaze deeper, we must start by discussing the basics. I'm Your Moon is a 2025 Thai GL. Produced by Channel 3, the show can be watched on iQIYI, and it has 8 episodes with a duration of 43 minutes, which makes it approximately 5 hours, 44 minutes long.
The synopsis reads, in the Buddhist year 2456, or 1913, social rank and tradition bars the love between two princesses. Her Serene Highness, Princess Piangari, and Her Serene Highness Princess Sasinapa are like sun and moon. They may never exist side by side. Nevertheless, their unfulfilled love and heart's wishes weave them a path back to each other. By the Buddhist year 2564, or 2021, a new era has dawned when they fall back into one another's orbits. Katakorn and Anitihan happen to meet and love blossoms in their hearts once more. The path to love, however, is never easy. The two must join hands to fight for it. Even with the veil of tradition barring them, the treacherous tale from the past still has a hold on their present. Adapted from the novel Katsatitan by Ace.
I don't know why, but I didn't remember the fact that it had been over a century in between the two reincarnations.
Yeah, that's fair.
And seeing that actually being that long,
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think of it. That makes perfect sense for it to have been
Yeah.
that long, clearly. But for some reason I didn't think about it being over 100, clearly over 100. Not too far over, but it's definitely over.
108 years?
Yeah.
Quick math. But yeah, that is kind of odd because a lot of times you do see them land on I can't say even numbers because 108 is even, but 100 or 110 and more of that nature rather than a random 108, you know?
Yeah.
And again with their full names. I don't know why they keep doing this. To me specifically, this feels like the universe is just laughing at me at this point.
It kind of is. So this is what, your third time in a row?
Yeah.
With full names being in the
Yeah.
summary?
Uh-huh. And it's not even a thing cause, if they were said in the drama a lot, and if I could remember from the drama, that'd be great. That'd be super helpful. But none of them actually go by the full name in the drama, or it's a last name that is never brought up maybe once the entire time. And I'm like, thank you so much. I hate it here.
It's like the Golden Blood incident where they have Mark with a whole last name in the synopsis, but you don't really hear that in the series at all.
Yeah. So that was fun. This has been interesting. You could have very easily put Earn and Prey's name in there instead of their full given names.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they decided not to. That was a deliberate choice.
It really was.
Unless it's a thing of hey, because they also have the novel title in the synopsis, and that's a mashup of their full Thai names. So they put it in there so you know that those are the main characters. I don't know. Trying to find a reason in it. It's not working out for me too well.
I will say, as synopsis wise, I mean, it gets his point across, but I will say
Yeah.
they need to fight, join hands to fight for it. I was kind of like, I don't know. There was a lot of roughness between the two
Mhm.
because Ern had a hard time trying to
Yeah.
pray or at least come clean about it versus Prey who kind of was pretty open for the most part about being very interested.
Like, also, the whole obstacle of Ern technically having a fiance. A whole fiance.
Well, that wasn't there, but yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, I mean, definitely at least it delivers what you need.
Yeah.
Continuing. The stars that guide I'm Your Moon shine brightly. Let's meet the cast and crew who make it shine. Our main couple is Splite Isari as Un and Piano Ponyani as Play. The show has two side couples, Mi Phadhar Haren as Tien and Bel Ploy Planat as Milan. And last but not least, Sigame Patalat Ngunglit as Andy and Al Panotat as Ler. The director was To Suk Tet, and this was his first work. And Ming Panchan was the screenwriter. She has worked on a few things, but nothing I personally recognized.
And while there were a lot more talented people who worked on this show, we unfortunately do not have the time to talk about everyone. But we would like to further highlight some of our thoughts about the cast and crew. First and foremost, Kimin. I haven't seen Kimin, and I think the last time I did see him was Gen Y2.
I'm trying to think, was it for me? It probably was, because the only other thing I could think of that he may have been in, but at the same time I never watched it, was the Candy whatever,
Oh
That's
yeah.
My Candy or something, which came out
Mhm.
after Gen Y, but I never got around to watch it, so therefore
I didn't either.
I can't think of anything else he would have been in.
That's to be said. It's been a while since we've seen him.
But I sure was happy to see him.
I was too. It was wild.
Very wild. Almost as wild as seeing Jaw now showing up in GMM TV.
Barcode as well.
Yeah. It's gonna get real weird when Boom and Prim show up on a
Yeah.
GMM show. Because I'm so used to them not
Yeah.
being labeled as a GMM actors. And then now all of a sudden they are. And on top of that, they've got a mascot. They've been a part of so much fan service stuff for GMM. And so it's wild that Boone and Prim are also now part of that. So yeah, that's what seeing Kimmin in this series was like. Like, why are you here? I don't mind it, but why are you here?
100% agree. Really, we talked about a lot of like the cast and like this show didn't have a huge cast, and we talked about a lot of them already, just briefly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, ultimately, Kimin was the only one that I really felt the need or desire to bring up in this section.
Which is very valid.
We've set the stage, and now it's time to delve deeper into I'm Your Moon. Spoilers ahead as we start with the story in the stars.
Some stories are written in the stars. Others are written by twist of fate. The story in the stars explores the plot in detail, diving into character arcs, dramatic climaxes, and the conflicts, both necessary and unnecessary, that shape the narrative.
The plot of the show is wild. It is insane.
I think it was interesting that, they weren't born into their own families. They were born into
Mhm.
each other's families.
It got the
And
good old
until we meet again trope, I guess.
mhm. Yeah, that's where
Because
I was going.
they are also born into each other's families. Which is kind of a wild concept, but I'm here for
Which
it.
I started this series slightly before you did,
Hmm.
and I remember you asking me about it. That was like one of the first things that I mentioned to you was that they got the Until We Meet Again. They got Until We Meet Again, and you were so down. You were like,
I
"Okay,
was.
yes."
I mean, we'll get into the expectation later, but I was so down when you told me that, because I was like, I love Until We Meet Again. I know there are some people who had problems with it because of the fact that he the main character was it's been so long, I'm so sorry, I forgot names on top of my head. was kind of, people said, oh, he just constantly cried. And like, you're right. But like, there was an emotional reason behind his crying. And, you know, people can have their opinions. Some people don't like it. But I personally love how Until We Meet Again is. Like, the whole story concept of it is just so unique. And my favorite part of it was like the fact that not just like were they born into each other's families, but that the trauma that they had from their past life was somehow played emotionally into their current lives, present ones. And honestly, when you told me that, I was like, yes, I'm ready to see what happens and what comes out of it. For further things about that details, we'll get that into the last segment. But I was definitely down for it when you said that.
On a slightly like different note, but like in the same vein, the way the both of these families spoke of like the event over 100 years ago as a curse this and like a curse that. I was like wild, frankly. And like literally my second bullet point for this show is I fear this quote unquote curse is more of a quote unquote personal grudge. And I stand by that.
It was absolutely a personal grudge.
It's just 100-year long standing personal grudge that these two families have against each other. Not one person decides to just, let it go. For over 100 years. That's insane.
Which low key to me didn't entirely make sense
It
in
didn't.
certain elements of it.
No.
The whole incident, how it played out with it being the mom who hired someone to kill, who was it? Praise? Or was it?
Yeah.
Which?
No, it was Ern.
No, it was, yeah, I'm gonna say it was Ern's past self. Wild, honestly. And then
Yeah.
didn't turn around, and wasn't it the other family that had a grudge? But I thought, but I was also confused because like didn't,
But
okay,
everyone hated each other.
yeah, they really did. I know there was a supposedly,
These
I
are
mean, the
two
curse,
families that hated each other.
I mean, to be fair, the curse that they spoke of, there wasn't actual cursing per se with the other one after they found out what they had done to their daughter and whatnot. And they were like, I'm cursing your family and yada, yada, yada. And so, like, they hadn't expect that outcome. And so there was technically a cursing. It's just logic. I'm not entirely sure it was there. At least maybe I overlooked it, which is also possible.
It may have started out as a curse, but like, let's be honest, even then and especially now, personal grudge.
Oh, for sure. But would you like to talk about the one segment that makes sense to you?
Okay, frankly, we jumping over everything that happens in the middle. What the fuck was the shipwreck arc?
I don't know. That felt like they were just trying to wrap something up with extra time. I'm not gonna lie, because where was that coming from? Because not only did we have the shipwreck thing, but we also had an extra a lover interest.
For both of them.
Yeah,
Like, we're not even talking just like love triangle, a love square.
yeah. It was. I don't know what was going on.
Incomplete, but it was a mess. It was a tangled mess. The shipwreck thing really felt like, oh, we need a conflict in the third act. Let's, ship them off to sea. Do I logically do I understand what they were thinking? Yes. Like Ern's character 100 years ago drowned, died. Now we're gonna send her off on this yacht, shipwrecked, but survives. I get it, but what the fuck? Frankly. It felt weird.
You know, I didn't even make that connection. Weirdly enough. But you're right. You're right. Metaphorically, there was a reason for her to be on the sea and go missing compared to her past life. And I see where you're coming from, having you stated that. But still, it really was a crazy concept because like didn't they do this in like the last like 2 episodes or
Yeah,
something?
it's the full last 2 episodes.
I mean, I guess, but kind of still felt like a weird placement.
We didn't even get like a full like last episode happy episode that type thing. which is interesting. And like one of like my biggest qualms about that is like a Millen didn't tell Andy that his whole boyfriend was missing for 3 days.
That was frankly effed up, honestly.
It was like he just comes up and is like, "Hey, have any of y'all seen Thur? He's not answering me." Like, and they were just like, "Yeah,
He may be
lost at
dead.
sea, possibly dead." And like, and if you think that's wild, like the next episode, they're just like, "Oh, Prey's still sad that her girlfriend is missing. Let's take her to this resort, ran by someone who has a very aggressive crush on her to make her feel better." And Fierce taking that opportunity to be like, "Hey, Ern's not, Ern might not be coming back. Like we could." And I'm like, "No. Why are we doing this? There are a million other options, and y'all went with this? Wild,
A little
wild."
perplexed, to be honest, to say the least.
Yeah,
It was a choice, and that is what they
it
made.
was a choice. I don't get it. But like honestly, that happened. I got that feeling from a lot of little decisions that were made throughout this show that I was like, that's a choice. Not a choice I would have made, but a choice nonetheless.
I mean, this isn't the first series that happens in, but yeah, this one
Yeah,
definitely was one of those where you're like, I guess it could have played out that way. Wouldn't have been my choice, but it played out that way. But it's what we got. Having explored the story in the stars, let's shine a light on character constellations where new stars await.
by mapping out character constellations, we chart the growth of our favorite characters, exploring how they shine brighter over time, evolve, and form unique constellations with the characters around them. If we start with Prey's a little precious being, a little naive,
Very naive. What do you mean a little?
fresh faced in the world that knows nothing about, very sheltered, a lover of mac and cheese. That's literally a bullet point that I have on here is that that Prey loves mac and cheese and that Nixie relates.
Why do I don't remember that? But yes, I would heavily relate. Love mac and cheese. But I don't remember that.
I honestly don't remember the scene it was referring to, but it happens in episode 2.
Darn, I wish I remembered it. It's been a minute, so I can't remember what's. I agree, I don't remember what scene that came from. But yeah, heavily would absolutely relate to that. But I agree, she's very naive, very innocent. She definitely doesn't know much about the world, and heavily sheltered was like an understatement. But, she definitely grows. Maybe not heavily noticeable, but I would say Ern helps her grow a little bit.
I agree.
Though Ern is also some of the cause of some of her growing, so
Yeah,
I mean, there's that. But
I was just say, like, speaking of Ern, she confuses me a little bit, not gonna lie.
I think she confuses herself. You know how many times she would come so
That's fair,
close
yeah.
to being with Prey, and then all of a sudden she'd be like, "Oh, nope." I'm like,
Actually,
"What?"
for this unsaid reason, that unsaid reason, and a reason I haven't even explored yet, I'm actually gonna step back without communicating at all.
That's wild.
Yeah, I will say one of the many girl bosses of this series. This series is full of girl bosses, and love that.
Always here for that.
Ern had her own thing, her own business. Tien had her own thing. Millen helped with Tien's thing and was like, I think she managed Andy. Was she his manager? I don't remember.
Yes, she
But
was.
like,
She was Annie's manager.
I thought so. Very fun. Love to see girls at work.
Andy was something else, to be honest.
I loved him.
I didn't expect there to be a past between him and her, to be honest. Because there was.
Yeah,
It wasn't much, but it was something.
yeah. And like, Andy. is heavy-handedly a bit of a spoiled brat, and like I was kind of there for it. It was kind of fun,
He
but like
was.
with that, but like with that in mind, like my first bullet point in episode 3 is if Thur punched Andy, Andy probably deserved it, and I stand by that.
Absolutely. And I think there was definitely multiple times he almost got punched, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing about Andy. This means nothing, but you're supposed to be like this, like famous superstar, this, that, whatever, and your signature looks like chicken scratch. It looked like shit. It was bad.
That's rough, buddy. That's rough.
It was so bad that like I when like they signed the contract early on, it was before Nixie started the series. I like without context took a screenshot of that the like still of the contract with his signature on it and sent it to her because like I was like someone has to also see this cuz this is bad. This is rough.
Bro got a doctor signature.
As an idol.
Yeah. Because you know, like a doctor's signature is supposed to be bad so that no one can mimic it. And that's what it is. No direction, no consistency, probably. I don't know.
Literally just like a full palmed hand on a pen and just like screeching as he's like writing it. And I think it was all in like it wasn't even like a signature. It was just like all capital print
Mm-hmm.
and like
And
shaky.
English.
Was weird. And English.
Because, like, you know, this is a Thai series, so they're usually going to
Yeah.
sign in Thai. So it was kind of funny that it was English, too, as well as his name.
Like looked like on the bottom of like Woody's boots from Toy Story.
That's insane. That's an insane reference. That's foul. But you're right. Though, no, you know what? I'm fixing to say something that's actually even more foul. Though, honestly, the signature on the boot of Annie is better than his signature.
It was a little more legible.
A little bit more. At least you can say it says Andy.
Oh.
That's a little rough. I'm sorry.
But like speak the truth. It's the truth, and we both know it. We all know it.
I will say, Kong, who was played by Kimon, what was that? Because I think he was close to being one that didn't interfere, and then all of a sudden he's like making a pact to like
Yeah,
win
fierce.
over Ern. But then he was like, I'm gonna do it my way. And at first it didn't seem bad, but then we get to the freaking shipwreck arc, and all of a sudden it took a way sharper turn than it did with the other one. Somehow worse, to be honest. And then after not being able to find her, he was like, you know what? I'll give up if you just come back. And I'm like, what was that? Like, I get it. But it was also kind of very drastic of a character change, to be honest.
Yeah.
And quickly at that, too. And
Mhm.
multiple changes. And that's why I was kind of like, what is going on with Kong? Like, his character and, like,
And we
that
truly
growth.
never find out.
No, definitely not. Because he's not the focus, so of course not.
We've journeyed through Story in the Stars and character constellations, but now let's explore shooting star wishes for one last perspective.
Make a wish with us in Shooting Star Wishes as we reach for the stars and let our imaginations run wild, dreaming of the changes, alternate endings, and plot points we wish had aligned differently. I think the very most fundamental one that we both agreed that we don't think met the same expectations as we were hoping for was when we
Mhm.
said that it got the Until We Meet Again treatment.
Mhm.
I don't know
Yeah.
what it was, but I had expected something so much more out of it. And like I
Yeah.
think like the comment I made earlier is I think if you're going to like hold on, rephrase that. Bring them into each other's families.
Mhm.
I think we need to draw more from that. And I feel like we didn't actually go that heavy about that. In fact, no one at all
Yeah.
questioned, like, not once, that they were from each other's family.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that they looked like their grandmothers,
Mhm.
each other's grandmothers.
We both have pictures of our grandmothers framed in various parts in both of our houses. And, like, we frankly talk to it talk to them and look at them more than I think I've ever looked at a picture in my life. But, like, nothing else comes from that. It's just like,
Nothing
"Oh."
else.
And, like, now that I think about it, the whole reason why Tien introduced Prey to Ern is because she knows that Tien, like, looks at that photo a lot, has, like, a connection really a deep connection to their grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, "Oh, I have a friend who looks exactly like her. You know, for your birthday dinner, let me introduce you to her." Wild.
Because, like, the other thing that's wild about that is, wouldn't have Tien already known for a while what Prey's grandmother looked like, and probably had already been friends with Ern for a long time? So why out of the
Yeah,
blue
absolutely. Yeah.
did we just go, oh, you know what? I think it's about time you meet a friend that looks like your grandmother. I don't get that.
I don't either.
But then we don't elaborate anything about them living in each
Mhm.
other's families' lives. Because, like,
Yeah.
the reason I was hoping for something is, like, we do get an elaboration on that in Until We Meet Again itself. Because,
Mhm.
like, you know, they reunite. In Touch is, like, past or current person. I forgot.
Parm. Yeah, because it's, Corn and N and then Dean and Parm.
Parm, you're right. You're right. Because, like, they've got to be reunited with his sister,
Mhm.
but in a
With In
different,
Touches, yeah.
as his present self.
Mhm.
And so we actually get a lot of play, and as well as the dad meeting and, like, saying that I give you,
Yeah.
permission and I'm sorry for what had happened, in your past life.
Mhm.
So we get like a whole reason why they were in each other's family, and like it was used as an actual
Yeah.
element in the story, but in this one, it's really not.
Yeah, like, we don't even get, like, them, like, trying to figure out, like, what happened,
Mm-mm.
like, 100 years ago.
Not really.
So that was wild. Was
That was
expecting
an
more in that direction.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't have projected into another series, but I
Yeah.
did have hopes that did not get met. I will
No, yeah.
admit. I don't hate the series or dislike the series, but it just didn't meet the end
Mhm.
goal that I had, or something I had envisioned for the series.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of the biggest ones to me that
Yeah.
just, I was like, that felt like it could have been changed differently or
Yeah.
handled with more
Mhm.
care, especially being used.
Just in general, fully believe with my whole heart of hearts that, like, the characters could have used so much more depth to them.
I agree.
They were like, well, they did experience a growth through the story. Kind of were like 2D, were like kind of flat.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Felt like we could have done a little bit more. This is just more of a personal thing. Would have loved to be in more the past more. Have seen more of the past. That was like the highlight of me for me. I was very excited about that, and we were hardly there.
Yeah, I don't even think we didn't even get full depth in what happened
Mm-mm.
in the past because of how little we went into the past, and then on top of that, how little they explored it in the present, and so therefore there was kind of some missing substance to that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to like do something with like past lives and like reincarnation, we've got to have like the baseline of understanding like what went on in the past to like really make the most of like the current story.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was not what happened here.
Not fully for sure. I don't know. Would have loved more substance. Didn't get it, but that's okay. As we prepare to leave the stars behind, let's gather the stardust of our experience and share our final reflections on I'm Your Moon.
I think we've kind of talked a little bit throughout like this wasn't necessarily our favorite.
Not necessarily,
Was it awful? No. Seen worse. Definitely
but
have
could have
seen
been better.
worse.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
I will say it at least delivers what it could in like 8 episodes.
Yeah,
So there is that running for it.
especially with like new actors.
Mm-hmm.
Both leads have not been in much that I remember.
I don't. know of anything, honestly, that they had really been in.
Especially together. Like, this is absolutely their first thing together.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I feel like that does show a little.
Just a little bit.
You can tell. It is what it is. Like, it has its charm to it. Definitely. But, like, I don't feel like it lived up to the potential it could have had, personally.
I mean, and to be fair, some of that was because we went in with
With
our
different
own
expectations.
ideas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so therefore it kind of
It's a little bit of a projection.
just a little bit. Just a little bit. But yeah, other than that, it was still pretty enjoyable for sure.
Yeah, it was a good
Kind of
time.
frustrating, but enjoyable.
Yeah, there is that.
But yeah. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Stars Align Drama and Dreams podcast, where we meet amongst the stars that illuminate the love stories that light up our universe and connect us all.
If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And share your stardust and thoughts with us. We'd love to hear your comments, favorite moments, or suggestions for what we should explore next.
You can connect with us in the comments or through our socials, as well as our email that are linked in the description. Let's keep the conversation going under the stars.
Until next time, keep dreaming, keep listening, and remember, love always shines brightest in the cosmos. Bye!
Bye.